Yeah, we back. What up, y'all? We gonna go through another lure here. And this time we gonna go back to the reverse feathers. Seem to work extremely well on the previous edition. So, we're just gonna quickly funnel through all the things we've covered many times before. So we just got a straight up tail on the hook. Keep it separate from the body. Fuzz up a little bit. Now I move that up from the last attachment as to not bundle it up a little too much. And then right up a little further, or you can go right on top because you haven't really bundled up too much yet. We just put a little bit of black in there. That's going to be the main focus of the body, will be black. And then we went in and popped some highlights, some green and orange. Kind of give a little pop to the black. And then we'll just trim all that up, move on to the body. Now here is where we're going to get into a little bit more detail. Now these feathers I've attached all sticking up off the body, so the tail will kind of stay separate, and they have a little bit of stiffness because I've used closer to the stock, so the stem's a little bit thicker to help prevent it from lying down flat. So when we pull the tail up, we'll keep that separate from there, so it will be able to wiggle around in the back and do its own little thing, popping like a chicken wang. Alright, so we've attached the first layer sideways and sticking out, so we can put these fine smaller ones in between. Now they were in rows of 4 and we didn't get a different view at it, but we'll get to that in a second. So here we've just bundled up a few tips. So as you can see, I'll hold them and put them on flat and they'll all be tightened together, but when you do not glue the ends here like I was doing previously, when you attach it and then pull tight, all these feathers will separate, which will give a lot fuller of a look up there. We'll turn sideways here and you can see when I was holding them and I put them onto the lure and wrapped, none of that was glued, and then as you pull tight with the thread, they all kind of spread out a little bit. It gives a nice even look, fills things in nicely. I wasn't going for the tight pattern like on the bird lure where some of the feathers, they were all bundled together in groups. So I've also gone in, added in a little bit of this clowny looking shit. I'm not a big fan of it. It's extremely hard to work with, but we got a little bit on there. When the body gets wet, it looks tight. So we're going to trim up that top piece flat and add in, I don't even know what you call them. We'll call them wings. And these will stick out from the body completely in the opposite direction, because when they pull through the water, it gives a really nice action. So we'll trim that flat and slide that right in there. Give a little glue, one piece of thread, wrap around, hold it in place, just to make sure that everything looks tight and it's all evenly spaced out. So I've gone in and glued it. I've wrapped more thread around and trimmed up the ends a little bit, get it nice and tight. So it's key to kind of get them spaced out properly. I have not done it where they're not really spaced out properly, but so I wouldn't really know what happens there. But they got a little bit of stiffness, so they're kind of like going to stay off of this body. That's why the body's not too fat and puffy, so that when they lie down, they're not really going to come in contact with the body, which really will give a more three-dimensional look to it. You can see a little bit of glitter in there. So they have good tension. That's key. You don't want too little tension or it's just going to lie flat. So we've gone in, put some black, filled it all up right to the neck, wrapped it up tight, and she's good to go. That'll be the body. You're not going to go too over the top with it. I definitely want the orange and green to stand out over top the black. And just, the red in there. A little bit of blood maybe. Red always works good, I find, in everything I've ever used, so try to use it here and there whenever I can, when it fits the pattern. So we've gone in and fixed up those beads at the top. Almost the same colors as the feathers, although with the camera lighting it doesn't really look like they're that much of a match, but the thread is actually pretty close. The glue that's over top of the thread is giving it kind of a different shade of lighting. But I'm definitely going to experiment with these feathers a lot. These ones I trim short so they don't get caught up in the joint or underneath the beads, and they have a stiff edge to them, so they kind of stay in place. I've done this one before, and those beads at the top, little bullet weights wrapped up with feathers, they kind of spin around nicely. It looks real nice. I'm definitely going to be experimenting a lot with that in the future. But she looks tight. It's pretty unique. Those feathers glide over the body, or vibrate over the body amazingly. I highly suggest, if you're making bucktails, try that shit out. I'm almost done editing the bird tutorial, and I've already started on my next bird edition, which is going to be twice as big, so there's something to look forward to. Stay tuned, y'all.
How do you do?